Collapsis.com. We're going to get it linked up at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Or just search the term Collapsis.com and then enter Infowars.com. You're getting a first look. And Tommy says, let's go ahead and play the trailer. Here it is. It's world premiere of the trailer. You can find out a lot more inside the website, Collapsis.com, by entering, again, Infowars. But here is the world premiere of the trailer for Collapsis.
You need to think bigger picture. Use your audience. Do some real reporting.
Everything's gone to a crisis point. It's now full-out civil war, fueled by blood, oil, and oppression.
For the coming years, we are now victims of our own stupidity and greed.
No, Amir.
That wasn't us.
You are a liar.
I may be many things, but a liar I'm not.
Energy industry isn't there to help us, it's here to kill us. We must fight back.
And you're helping to feed the fire.
Feed the fire. That's a good job.
Do not believe the lies. You'll know what I know. You'll see what I see. This is our war.
You need to get out of there, Vera.
Collapsis.com, and for radio listeners that couldn't see the trailer at PrisonPlanet.tv, is the trailer posted once people get into the Collapsis.com website, Tommy?
Yeah, it's also we're posting it on YouTube, so.
Good, so that's going up anytime. We'll get that. Yeah. We'll get that link. This is a short segment, but again, get into the process and the multimedia, this fusion that is Collapsis.
Well, it's about using multiple platforms to do the storytelling. And I also wanted to ask your listeners to follow us on Twitter at Collapsis News. And if you are going to be talking about or sharing your energy conspiracy theories, if you use the hashtag Collapsis, I think some surprises will be in store for you.
And again, you use the term conspiracy theory because in the popular culture, it's like when I call micro radio pirate radio, I get emails from pirate radio operators saying, why are you calling it pirate? It's micro. Yes, I think it's good. I think it's a way to get key information out. But the general public, if I say micro, doesn't know what I'm talking about. So I've got to say pirate to then explain to them that it's really micro and isn't interfering, if it's done properly, with commercial radio stations. Same way, you say conspiracy theory, that just means questioning the official dogma. But you have to use the term conspiracy theory just to even get people to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and I think conspiracy has a connotation of illegality to it as well. I mean, I think of conspiracy as somebody planning to do something that's illegal, and certainly price fixing or withholding information and other things. It wouldn't be in the past that energy companies have done something like that. So I don't think it's a very broad leap to call it conspiracy. I've
got a Bloomberg piece where they're calling the Stuxnet worm a conspiracy by a major government. I mean, conspiracies are everywhere. When two guys get together to rob a bank, that's a conspiracy. Why then does the media say mega corporations aren't involved in conspiracies when we know they are?
Yeah, I mean, you have to ask yourself that question. Everybody should be asking that question. But it's just a way to demonize and marginalize people who are asking questions.
What was the genesis of Collapsis? I mean, when did this idea form?
I was in New York in 2003 during the blackout. And it was, post 9/11. So it was very nice. Everybody was very good for 24 hours. There was no crime. It was sort of a big party. But I noticed very quickly that my entire lifestyle was going to change. And it changed in 24 hours. And the thought of what if we didn't have energy for, 3 days? What if we didn't have anything for a week? Civilization as we know it would completely collapse. And that was really kind of the genesis of this. When they sort of came to me describing the project, I just immediately thought back to that moment and that experience that I had.
I remember the last time you were in Austin, well, the last time I saw you when you were in Austin about a year ago, you were talking about, this project, and you were telling me, of course, the story about New York.
Yeah. I mean, to live through something like that, and again, it was really fun, but you don't really realize how dependent we are on energy until we're without it.
We are incredibly dependent. Let's talk about that and different theories, but the different research areas that you've gotten into about what's really behind what's happening with energy right now and the future of energy and my views on that as well. Tommy-Pallotta is our guest. The website is collapsis.com. Only listeners can get in. We're going to get more into the production of this and some more hints of what you'll discover at this 21st century multimedia fusion at collapsis.com. Only our listeners for the next 24 hours can get in. This isn't launching for 3 or 4 days. You can get a sneak peek in the next 24 hours by entering the secret code, not any secret anymore, INFOWARS, INFOWARS, INFOWARS at collapsis.com, COLLAPSUS.com. And, of course, the producer of this, the director of this is Tommy-Pallotta. But, Tommy, before we get more into this, you wanted to play not just a trailer, but a 1-minute sneak peek from one section of the Collapsis universe.
Yeah, I want you to guess who this is based on.
Okay, let's go ahead and play the clip. Here it is.
Do not believe the lies. Which lies? The lies that corporations and the countries want you to believe. We don't have time for this. Our environment and our planet are in a fragile balance, and they want to destroy that balance. Oh, I see. You think I'm just some crazy conspiracy theorist. You honestly believe that no one could game the system and exploit the current energy crisis. Do not be naive. Look how even now they exploit the natural gas crisis for profit. Everybody's a player. It's a big game for them, and no one is innocent. Question your sincerity. I'll send you something. Send me your email address. I'll get you the files. You'll know what I know. You'll see what I see. Sure that's it? Send it again. Make sure I have it.
Tommy, you sent us 2 other files, but we couldn't get one of them to work. Was that the right file?
Yeah, that was good.
I don't know. Who is that based on? Tommy-Pallotta?
Not me. No, that was an American who was living here, working at a comedy club, and he was already a big fan of yours. And I knew that we wanted to introduce this sort of this character who was sort of checking up on everybody and everything, and is the guy that always has all the facts, and it seems hard to believe, but then as you sort of go along the story, you realize that he's right too many times.
And you've interviewed a lot of heavy hitters for this documentary as well. But again, it's multiple documentaries. Some of it's kind of the action adventure, whodunit, investigation. Other things, it's, talking head interviews. And tell us about the group that financed this. And, this is going to be airing on television, is it not?
Well, the documentary is already aired on Dutch television here. And so what we're...
But that's only one slice of it.
Yeah, that's only one slice. This is really a mixture of gaming, fiction, and documentary. And even within that, we're mixing live action and animation. So it really is just sort of a remix of all popular culture and things that are going on right now.
And this was an attempt to try to get young people to tune into the European-style documentary, correct?
Yeah, that's there's a social media aspect to it. The way that we tell the stories mostly through video blogs, with the characters, talking to each other in that way. A lot of this is going to link to YouTube videos and things like that. So again, I encourage everybody to follow us at Collapsis News on Twitter, and to talk about energy conspiracies and to use the hashtag Collapsis.
Well, the big positive aspect of this, and I want to see if you concur or expand on it, is that we know there's a lot of, this is on record. I've seen stuff from the 70s with General Motors suppressing engines that go 60, 70 miles to the gallon and have powerful horsepower behind them. I mean, there's a lot of basic stuff that's been suppressed, a lot of technologies that have been suppressed, because obviously the big energy giants don't just want profits, they want control.
Well, I think those two are intertwined. And I mean, it's pretty obvious now that who's profiting the most, oil companies. I mean, you only have to read the newspaper to find that out. That's not a conspiracy. We know that for a fact.
Tommy, I know there's a lot more to talk about dealing with collapsus.com, but do you want to open the phones up and take some calls?
Sure, let's do that.
All right, we're going to clear the phone board so we have calls specifically for Tommy Pallotta. And give us your ideas, that the media would call conspiracy theories, about suppressed technology, suppressed energy, what you think about peak oil. I mean, clearly they're hyping it to create artificial scarcity, but it doesn't matter either way. They're trying to block energy so they can make higher profits and have greater control, not just over the West, but particularly the third world, where Lord Monckton's research and others have clearly exposed it is a death sentence for tens of millions of people per year. 1-800-259-9231, 1-800-259-9231. And, Tommy, I certainly hope that you've got big servers over there, because I would imagine you get anywhere between 100,000 and 1 million people in the next 24 hours hitting collapsus.com.
Well, I hope. There's a lot of mysteries there, and I think figuring out the site is half the fun. I mean, you're going to have to go in there and sort of dive in there, and it's a lot deeper than it first appears.
So it's also one of those sites on top of it. It's not just multimedia. You've got to discover the clues and things.
Yeah, not too much puzzle playing, just because I don't like that. But, it's a rabbit hole. So I want you to go down the rabbit hole.
How many levels are there in the rabbit hole? This is kind of the video game cheat sheet here.
A big influence was just sort of annotated experiences in novels that I was reading a long time ago. And I started to think that what I really wanted to do was be able to choose what information I would go to. So if a character is saying it in a fictional realm, then I can go to a documentary to sort of counter that point. Or perhaps there's an interactive element that'll sort of exemplify what we're talking about. So it's really up to the viewer to decide what they want to do.
And is anything else going to be added to collapsus.com, or is this the final phase of the project?
I think we're always open to tweaking it and changing it. And it's funny that you were talking about water conspiracies, because I actually saw this as sort of a series. And my idea was that the next one would be based on sort of water conspiracies.
Well, there's no doubt about that. They are 100% creating artificial scarcity and getting groups warring with each other in the United States and other areas to set that.
All the privatization of it, that's what's scary about it.
Yeah, they take these dams and infrastructures that we've already paid for by taxpayers, so we should own it, and they give it to companies who then overnight increase the prices.
Yeah, and then they get to decide what to do with it and who it goes to.
Well, see, that's the big danger. Anything good, the globalists are excellent at counterfeiting it. And so there's all these really good environmental ideas and good ideas for clean energy. But then it becomes a kind of an inside track where only Al Gore and select individuals get to decide what gets deployed, and then they profit from it. And all the systems they're promoting are just a re-centralization and aren't what we need to get off of the toxic oil economy. I mean, there's no doubt that the toxic waste and things involved with oil refining is terrible.
Yeah, that's true. And I think the one thing for me, and I think that I would consider myself a casual listener, is that it just all becomes overwhelming after a while. And that's one of their tricks. It's just to overwhelm you with information and to keep you, in a state of denial, really.
We've got a bunch of calls here for you. We're going to go to them right now.